Hey there, and welcome to another episode of the Wellness and Influence Leaders Lounge. I'm Christine Sandoval, PharmD MBA, a leadership coach, and in this channel, you are equipped and empowered with tools and tips so you can win at work without trading well-being. Today's episode is all about mindful listening. I know that we've been in this training on assertiveness, and if you were to become an effective and assertive individual where you speak and others listen, you create impact, you influence, it is required and critical that you develop the skill of mindful listening. A lot of people, when they talk about mindful listening, they say, just keep quiet while the others are speaking, nod and do some ahas and yeah when they're speaking. But studies have been showing that this way of listening is truly passive and it doesn't build credibility, it doesn't build or nurture the relationship that you have with the person who's speaking, and it's not quite productive. And so, how do you mindfully listen and still make the other person heard? And really, it is one in your intent. So breathe deeply before any conversation. Clear up your mind, suspend all the mental chatter that's happening, and focus on the one thing that you want to get out of this conversation. And when you are intent about listening mindfully, I hope what you want to get out of the conversation is that the other person feels heard, validated, welcomed, and even challenged, because that means that you are truly listening, not to win, but to help them express themselves, their thoughts, their opinions. And as a leader, when you do this with fellow leaders and the people in your team, you will build rapport like no other. And this doesn't mean you just stay silent. It means that you become part of the conversation without the intention of winning them over or getting things your way. It's that your intention is to truly learn and seek to understand and to make the other person feel that you are there for them and not for your own agenda. And so tip number 2 is to ask questions for clarification when the other person is speaking. Don't just nod and keep silent when the other person is sharing their views. Ask incisive questions that long to clarify and expand and deepen what they are trying to tell you. When you do this, you are helping them to almost have this hook that you pull out their thoughts out of them. And that's actually the cornerstone of coaching. So when you ask incisive questions, the other person feels that you're welcoming them into this mutual ground and space that they could be themselves and they could speak with you with their mind and with their truth. And in the way, you're showing them that you can be influenced. And when another person feels that you are welcoming their influence, they too will reciprocate, because that's just how human interactions are. It's reciprocating what the other person is making you feel, not what they're saying. Remember that communication is 80% nonverbal cues, which means that your words, they matter, and they don't matter as much as we think they do. It means that you are noticing their respiration, their heart beating, their perspiration, how they look at you, or lack of eye contact. Notice their facial expressions, the tone of their voices. Are they aligned with what they're saying, or are they saying something but really meaning something different? Pay attention to the nonverbal gestures. And tip number 3 is to mirror what they're saying, again, with the intent to clarify. So when the other person is talking, paraphrase what you say, what they said, so that you can clarify if you understood correctly. And then make some suggestions, not suggestions that would criticize them or put them down, but suggestions to help them expand their thinking, to help them move forward in the direction that they're trying to go. Whether that is to implement a new initiative, to figure out this work from home situation and how to best lead their teams. Be that role model for them so that they can emulate. And when you are listening mindfully, remember that the other person will feel valued, respected, honored with you being there. And tip number 4 is remove all distractions, whether it is mental distractions of the task you are about to do or you're supposed to do, and what else you're wanting to do before this conversation with that person, or even things like your phone or your laptop. Don't be checking emails while the other person is speaking their mind and engaging you in a discussion. Be fully there and focused on the other person and what they're saying. And in this way, as strange as this tip would be in terms of assertiveness, mindful listening is key to being assertive, because your words will only land when the other person feels that you see them, that you hear them, that you know them, and that you are not speaking out of your own conceit or your own ego or your own agenda, but truly you are creating this mutual and synergistic pull where you are bringing you and the other person to the table to achieve a communal goal that you both have. And when a goal and an objective between two parties are aligned, they will more than likely row in the same direction, and they will do their best. They will show up, even when it's hard, even when it's not convenient, even when it's not comfortable, and amidst disagreements, they will show up. So I hope that this episode helps you to become more assertive by listening mindfully. And before we close, I just want you to know that times are hard and you can breathe. You can take a pause. You can take a break. It is not a sprint, right? You've heard this. It is a marathon. And this season has dragged for a while, and you've lost a lot of things that are important to you, and you've had to recalibrate what life looks like, what your identity looks like, and maybe you're still in a haze and in a fog, and don't pressure yourself to find clarity immediately. Process how you're processing and take this next step forward, no matter how small. Know that this too shall pass, and it's important that you give yourself compassion, kindness, and grace so you can give the same to other people. Understand that we are in this together, and that's not just lip service. Feel it, know it, that as humanity goes through one of the most challenging things to go through in recent history, that you are here, and you're needed, and you're useful, and you matter, and your leadership, your brand, and your style of leadership means more than anything, because people need to be seen. Different kinds of people needs to be seen, and your version of that leadership is necessary. I hope this helps, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.